And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster, touching base with you as I do every day. And I have to tell you, this Monday, I am exhausted. So how you guys doing? I had an amazing weekend, just to say. Some of you guys were with me on my party excursions this weekend. Friday night, going to a club and being on the wrong date, and then finally getting on the right date on Saturday, and had a great time partying and hanging out with my buddy and giving just kind of like celebrating her at her event and supporting her. And it was absolutely wonderful. And then also is nothing worse than taking the subway in New York City at 1 o'clock in the morning, really 1:30. And it took about an hour and a half to get home. So I walked in my house almost 3 o'clock in the morning, like to quarter, like 2:45, somewhere around there. uh, I am not as young as I used to be. And the body feels it today. And yeah. When is living on the edge, it was definitely living on the edge. My body is like, what the hell is going on? Because I'm usually in bed or near my bed, somewhere closely relaxing at 1 o'clock in the morning, not traveling on the subway. And I have to tell you, it is horrible to travel on the subways here in New York City on the weekends. Literally, the trains do not run properly. There are shutdowns, there's go arounds, it was a horror to come home Saturday night, well, really Sunday morning. And then I said, I'm gonna sleep in. I slept in. And then my buddy Howard and mentor, one of my mentors, he said, "Hey, I'm in Brooklyn. What's going on? What are you doing? What's new today? What are you up to?" And I said, "Well," in my head, I was like, "Well, just staying in this bed." And then and he said, "Hey, I was just calling to see you. If we want to get together, I don't want to have to. I don't want to go back to Harlem. I just want to hang out." And I said, "Okay, we'll do that. We'll meet at Junior's." And we met at Junior's at 1 o'clock. We did not leave Junior's until 7:30, almost 8 o'clock. We talked for hours, literally 4 hours. And it was a great time. Howard is Howard Cash, one of our first, I think he's our second guest that was on our Wisdom Wednesday, and also has become a mentor for me. And we were talking about street photography. We were talking about selling, how, I went out on Saturday to sell my work. He gave me some great tips, because at the Saturday, for those that did not see, Saturday, I went out to the street and I said, I'm going to go out every Saturday and sell my work. And what is it? It's also to build community and to connect with my neighbors. And it was a great experience. But at the end of the day, like 3 o'clock, the weather started to change. Now, New York, we had 81, it was 81 degrees. It was warm. It was hot. I had my sweatshirt, had to take it off. It was crazy. But then you had these moments of, we call wind burst. And out of nowhere, a gust of wind will happen and everything starts blowing around. And I'm not the only person on the main street selling. There's a couple of other people that are in the buildings that are selling their work, selling their there was a woman that was next to me. She she does crocheting, and she had all her crocheting um crafts, creations on her table. She makes scarves, sweaters. She has some like throws. I mean, it's really nice what she did. And she was just knitting, crocheting away as as neighbors are passing by, people are on the street. Anyway, I had I said, we were like, okay, it's getting windy. I looked at her and she looked at me. I said, it's time to pack up. It's time to pack up because the wind gust was getting so strong. And then out of nowhere, we got a burst of wind. Some of her stuff went flying down the block, and some of the people were there to help her. And then I had already started to pack up, and I had my wagon in the wrong direction. And as the wind came down, it blew my wagon down. All of the photos went across the sidewalk, just spread out. Some of the frames got destroyed. One frame broke, the glass was shattered. And then my bio went flying into the wind. It was like I mean, I had endured to the end, and at the end, I had the worst moment. And so now some of these photos have to be reframed. But I had a great day on the street. So I was at juniors, Howard and I were talking about all of the I shared with him what had happened. He goes, "Oh yeah, you need to make sure you put some weights in your cart." So I said, "Okay, I got weights in here. I'll make sure next time they put the weights inside the cart, so that way to hold the cart down in case." I was like, "Holy moly!" So he was giving me tips, and Howard's been doing. He's been selling his photography in Harlem, on the streets of Harlem, for about 30 years. So he had a lot of tips for me. Then we talked about family, his childhood, my childhood, family members, cousins, and everything we could have talked about. I mean, think about it. We talked for, well, like I said, it was almost 7 hours of just conversing. Then I had some French toast and had that at Junior's. And again, I keep saying to folks, I know there's a Junior's in Manhattan, but that Manhattan Junior's is not like the original. So if you want to get a real Junior's experience, you have to go to the Brooklyn Junior's, the original. And we sat at the counter versus the table because it was packed. So many people came out. There was also the celebration of the end of Ramadan. So a lot of Muslim families were there celebrating the end of Ramadan. And so we got to meet some people. Some people were like, "Hey, Howard." They knew him. Howard's been around for a while. And so I said, "Howard, I said, you got a big fans. You got a lot of fans here in Brooklyn." And we just had a great time. I was so glad. I mean, this weekend was full of wisdom. One is supporting my friend Nadia, and being there for her, and also picking the wrong day and being there on Friday. But it was great to go on live with our community, that our Touch Base Daily Twitch at night. For those that don't know, we do a Touch Base Daily Twitch at night on Sunday nights, Wednesday nights, and Friday nights. And last night we had a great time. We played our Wordle, we played our connections, and we played also our spelling bee. And also, I just realized. So, remember we were talking last night that spelling bee does not update at midnight like the other word puzzles. It updates at 10 o'clock in the morning. So this morning I saw the update, and then you get the new spelling bee. So now I know not to do the spelling bee on the day of until we get together, because it's not going to update to 10 o'clock. We had a amazing night. It was so much fun. Dr. Tashi came as usual with her scholarly words. that the New York Times had no idea that those words were words. So we had a great time last night. It was so much fun, and then we had a really good laugh when it came to the word hoeing, and so it was really a lot of fun. So it was a great laugh. So I had an awesome weekend. But my body is like, Ron, you have pushed yourself to the max. And so I'm going to definitely rest this week. So let's see who's in the building. Let's say some good mornings. Hannah's in the morning. Hannah says, "Good morning, Ron and Touch Base Daily family." She gets the gold medal for today. Danette is in the building. She says, great morning. She was with us last night. Hannah was with us. They were all with us last night. Danette says, good morning. And then the wonderful Chris, Miss Bingo Chris is in the building. She says, good morning. Jazzy's in the building. She says, good morning, beautiful people. And Anthony Rowland is in the building saying good morning. Miss G.R. Houston Jack is in the building with good morning, good morning, good morning. And we have Dr. Tachi out saying hello. And we have Janet saying good morning, Touch Base Daily, folks. And she says, Ron, you're living on the edge. Yes, the edge of what? I don't know, but it's on the edge. And Lisa's in the building. She says, morning, everyone. So I see everyone's in the building. If you're in, make sure you hit the likes. Make sure you hit the likes. Make sure you hit the likes so that way it generates that people are interested in this platform. Okay, on weekend only. Lisa popped in yesterday, but Lisa never hangs out. She just kind of like she graces us with her presence at the Touch Base Daily at night. She graces us with her presence and then she disappears. She's like, too much brain power at night. So she's definitely not one for the word games. Janet says, when you don't know what to do, body speaks. Yes, Lord have mercy. My body was speaking yesterday, but I still made it over to Junior's to hang out with Howard. And then when I got up from the stool, my leg had locked in because I was sitting for all those hours. And I tried to walk. I was like, I cannot. We were dying laughing because I could not walk. I was so stiff. Lisa says the waitress hated you for that. Yes, I stayed right there. Yes, well, yeah, I'm sure they did. But I ate. So half after I had my French toast, I was there just hanging out at the counter. The counter is a different vibe. It's not being like sitting at a table. And that's why I sit at the counter. Because at the counter, you can have a chat and just hang out and relax and kind of like not worry about getting up for the table because you want to be respectful when you're in a restaurant. You don't want to just sit at the table. You want to get up and let people, have a chance to sit down. But not so at the counter. The counter is kind of like just where people just hang out. And I ordered also. I don't. This is the first meat I've had since before surgery, and I had chicken fingers. Now I don't know if anyone has had these chicken fingers at Junior's. Now I won't say the best in the world, but they are the best for when you are craving for them. And since I was there, I said, okay, so like midway, I ordered more food. So that way, and I left a good tip. So that was a good thing. You always want to make sure the waitresses are happy. So that way when you come back, and I've been at the Junior's counter. I am 61 years old. I've been going to Junior's for 40 years. I know all of the waiters there. They've seen me grow up. I know who they are. They know me. We come in, we hang out, my friends. We all grew up at Junior's. And so it's an experience. They know who you are. So there's no big deal. I watched waiters come and go that was serving for half a century. Yeah, it's that kind of place. Junior's is an amazing place. Shout out to the folks at Junior's. Everyone is so kind. I've never had, let me say that before I say never. I don't think I've ever had a bad experience with the waiters or the people there at Junior's Brooklyn. Just saying. Junior's Brooklyn is different from Junior's in Manhattan, Midtown. Okay, here we go. Weekends only. Morning, Hannah. When you don't know, got that. I see here. all the love that you guys are sending to each other. Hey, Elise is in the building. She says, good morning, everyone. I take it that Elise is back on the East Coast. And hey, Bryson's in the building. Okay. Do I need a drink? Not yet. Here we go. What's up, Ron? What's up, RLP fam? What's up, CQ fam? Happy CinemaCon Monday. Ooh, what's that? I don't even know what that is, Bryson. And let's see here. Let's see. What's up, Gwen? I see going on. Gwen, I see you guys are sending all that love to each other. Good morning. All those good. That's why I love you guys. All the love and good mornings. And you just provide such an amazing atmosphere here. Felicia is in the building. Miss Fifi is in the building. Miss Batten is in the building. D Tuggle is in the building. Mr. DT. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, Ron. Good morning. Yes, y'all. And I agree with that. The Manhattan, yep. There we go. I agree with that. The Manhattan spoke is okay. It's just okay. Good morning, good morning, good mornings. Here's from Janet. The Manhattan Juniors is in the basement of Grand Central Terminal. Yes, but they also have one on 40, I want to say it's 43rd, I think it is, 43rd Street off of Broadway. Yeah. And then they used to have another one down the block. So it's like there may be 3 juniors in Manhattan. I think, no, one of them had a fire, didn't it? One of them had a fire. Okay. Or was it the one in the one in the Grand Central Station that had the fire? Can't remember. One of the juniors had a fire. I can't remember which one it was in Manhattan. I see here. World. Okay. Wordle rocks. We did that. Okay. And Lisa says, okay, I saw you guys were on at like a zillion o'clock last night. I rolled right over. Now we were on late. Do you know? This is how crazy we are as a community. Because after I came home from the club and I got home around, oh no, that was Friday night. I came home because we were supposed to get our time together. So we still did our Friday night touch base daily. And I got home like probably about 1 o'clock, and we started about 1:15, 1:30, and we did it to almost 3 o'clock in the morning. Yes, Ron, you are not as young as you used to be. Dr. Tachi says, yes, that was hilarious. Dr. Tachi says, this and Ron, because of you, as soon as I finish this meeting, I am going to sleep. I'm going to sleep too. I said today, I'm definitely taking a nap today. I am taking a nap for sure. Good morning, everyone. Says, hey, Kelly A's in the building. Good morning, Kelly A. And let's see who else is in the building. Lisa says, right, I bounce as soon as y'all start Wordle. It's like too much brain power. Lisa says, so you just sit at the counter. We just sat at the counter and ate and talked. It was great. It was great. Especially when the time you spent with someone that's a mentor, there's no price you can put on it. And I was so glad that I was able to, just hear Howard's thinking. He's been in the business for a long time. He's been a photographer. He's lived in Africa. We went over so much. We talked about culture. It was priceless. It was like going to a university yesterday with him. I mean, literally spent just learning so much from him. And then he said, oh, I learned so much with you. I was like, yeah, you just being nice. I'm the one that got the learning and education. She says the counter is still a seat that needs to be turned. If you're buying and eating during that time, then you're good. If not, adios, amigos. And yeah, I'm a believer. If you're going to be in the space, you must pay. You must eat. And he says, Did you get the chicken tenders, Ron? I certainly did. The ones we had. The last time I had chicken tenders was with Elise, right before surgery. Elise says, I'm back on the East Coast and getting ready to come to New York City. Let me know when you're back in New York, Elise. You know, we got a date. We got a date. And see all the good mornings. She says, I've done the Midtown location with the hubs. Mimi is in the building as well. What's up, Mimi? I see you. Good morning, Ron and RLP family crew. Whew, there's a lot of greetings today. I'm loving this. I just enjoying this time. We're just hanging out with you guys. The club, says Lisa. And Hannah said, Friday night we were going strong until after 3 a.m. We certainly was. I was like, but you know what? I'm not. This community, a lot of you are insomniacs. A lot of you are insomniacs. Not everybody, but a lot of you are insomniacs. I will not name you out. I will not call you out, but some of y'all can stay up late. I'm just saying. I'm just joining you. Elise says, we'll see you all on late at night. I peek in. Hannah says, I am taking a nap today too. We are all nap worthy. Today is a nap worthy day. So we're going to do some photography from the Associated Press, a week in the news. So we'll do that. Also, just as a reminder, and we'll talk quickly about that. Exactly. Lisa says, Ron, the youngins say club. Can they just be night? No, they could not be, Miss G. Always contraire. They're night owls. Yeah, they could be night owls too. Night owls, but insomniacs. I know some of the insomniacs. There are some insomniacs inside this community. Okay, so this week, just so you know, tomorrow is a very important election. So if you are in Florida, you need to get out and vote. You need to tell your friends to vote in that district. I forgot what number. Is it District 16? I forgot. I can't remember which exactly the district number. But that district is going to mean a lot in the Congress. So we get a seat. We can get a seat. We can overturn a seat in Congress, in the House. That makes it now a closer margin, right? For laws, so we can kind of like try to stop this idiot that is, it's District 6. So we can tighten the margins. And then I think it is only going to be a 2-person margin, right? Will it be 2, Elise? Elise, I know, Elise, you know that number. I think it's 2, because right now it's 3. But I think if we get this seat, it'll be 2. Right? So that's close. All you need is 2. And in that case, all you need is, I know this sounds horrible, but anything can happen. One person could die on the Republican Party, and another person could get sick and just not be able to be in the House any longer. Anything can happen with a 2-people margin. That could change things in the House, right? You could change the whole makeup of Congress if you have a 1 or 2-person margin. So we need Florida. And I hear that he is favored, the gentleman that's running in Florida. So I think he has a 1 point or 2 point lead, but there's a margin there for error. Lisa says, which is why they, let me go ahead. Let me just put this up for Lisa. Lisa said, which is why they told old girl not this year for the UN ambassador. Yes, Stefanik. She could not. They said, you are not going to be UN because we need that New York seat. Because as soon as she goes, if she would have taken that UN seat, then Hochul can put in a Democrat until they do an election for that seat. So they were not going to have it because it's very slim. It's a slim margin. Elise says the Democrats have a seat to be replaced because one of the Texas members died. Yes. So maybe this is going to balance it out. That's right. That's right. I forgot when what's his name passed away. The boy, he was such a treasure in the Democrat Party. He passed away in Texas. I know that you Texans would know his name. Gwendolyn and I talked about it when he passed away, so I know Gwendolyn knows his name. Jazzy says, "Yup." So they need to replace that senator. I'm sorry, that congressperson, Sylvester. Elise says, if they can get the 2 Florida seats, it would be 1-person lead. That's what we need. They got to get the 2 Florida seats. And then there's only a 1-person margin. And, anything can happen to that 1 person in the Republican Party. Any of them. Something could go wrong, awry, suspect. Anyway, that 1-person margin can mean the end of democracy or the furtherance of democracy. So anyway, Elise says House members have to be elected. They are not appointed. Do they? Well, if she would have moved to become UN, don't they have to put someone in her place? Just asking. Because there's a vacancy. Do they just keep the vacancy? They don't put a person in the place? I know they do for the Senate, but I'm not sure in the Congress. I thought sure that they could put someone in that spot. Don't know. Maybe it's just New York. I don't know. They still have to be right. They still have to be I know they have to be an election, but temporarily will that seat be vacant or does the governor appoint? Don't know. Okay, I'm not sure on that answer. So make sure you guys get the answer so that we have it. I thought so too, Lisa. I thought in New York State there's an appointment until there's an election. I may be wrong. Okay. But again, what happens to the seat if it's vacated? Yes, it will be vacant until the election. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Did not know that. I just got schooled. Yes, it will be vacant until the election. Okay. Thank you. That's good clarity. I thought it was otherwise. But okay, so there we have it. Okay, so that's what's happening this weekend. Also, this on tomorrow. Tomorrow is also a very, 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 very important Wisconsin election for the Supreme Court justice. And Elon is trying to buy that election. So, yeah, that is a big one because the Democrats want to make sure that gerrymandering, those lines of how voting is in Wisconsin, are protected. So that is important. Elise said, let me go with Jazzy says, we got that one. That's why they don't want her to leave the spot because that would have to force a special election like they did in Florida. And Elise says, the House and Senate are different when someone needs to be replaced. Thank you, Elise. And Jazzy says, Musty is buying that seat, which is illegal. Well, it don't seem to be too much illegal because he's allowed to get away with, he's paying for using it under disguise of a petition, where the people are signing the petition. He's giving them $100. And then two people out of those people that are on the petition, I do believe, can win $1 million. I think that's how it goes. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's how they have this go around for paying for the election. It's horrible. Jazzy says, but they aren't going to do anything about it. Exactly. As a matter of fact, I think they one of the courts, they did try to fight it, but they said we're gonna stay out of it. Elise says the Wisconsin Supreme Court is trash. They know that what he is doing violates the Hatchet Act because he works for the government. Yes, Elise. And Lisa says, did you see that reporter asked Dump, why does he lie? And Dump was thrown all the way off. Yeah, that was funny. But also this weekend that happened in the news, Trump was also asked, will he be running a third term? Will he be running a third term? And they say they have a couple of tricks up their sleeves so that Trump can run for a third term. Also, what they're also peddling is that sometime this summer, maybe this summer, they might begin the idea of putting Trump on Mount Rushmore. Did y'all hear that? Trump on Mount Rushmore? I'm just floored about how these people love this man, the ones that do. But on the other hand, people are protesting. And did anyone follow the Tesla protest this weekend on Saturday? There was a global protest around the world. Around the world, they protested Teslas. Okay, and see here, what are you guys saying? Because it's a community chat. The Supreme Court is Wisconsin's ruled against doing anything. Exactly, Jazzy. Lisa says, but watch, they fight it when a Dem is in that position. Of course, the Republican, well, it's not the Republican Party. We all need to come to the conclusion that is no longer the Republican Party. This is the MAGA Party with mega brains, mega fools, mega derangement. This is not the Republican Party. Elise is laughing. Daddy says, Ron, don't make me mad on a Monday morning. Lisa says, what? You effing lie. Yes, Mount Rushmore. They are peddling the thought of, and they were saying yesterday, they said there's room to put Trump on Mount Rushmore. And they will like to entertain the thought of trying to do something in June. In June. Oops, that was a bad. That was not a thumbs up. Can we do a thumbs down? I never see if we can do a thumbs down on this thing. Probably not, right? Only thumbs up. Dr. Taj says they were protesting. Meanwhile, I was at brunch. Exactly. Black folks are like, hey, y'all, as they say, I'm just going to relax and take a. Oh, yes. People of Black folks, I should say, Black folks are like, y'all can protest all y'all want. There is something, hold on a second. There's something I wanted to show you all. And it's in regard to our, hold on a second. Did I get this? Was I able to do this? I think it was on my TikTok. Was it on TikTok? Oh, speaking of TikTok. Oh, yes. There is something I wanted to show you. This is in regard to Louisiana. And this is our wonderful Joy Ann Reed talking about. I want to hear your thoughts about this, about what happened in Louisiana on Saturday. And you need to know this information because there are some victories. We are getting some victories, and some people are waking up. Some people are waking up. So this is our wonderful Joy Ann Reed sharing, and we'll talk about it at the end, okay?
Louisiana. And there were 4 ballot measures on the ballot that Governor Landry, who's one of the most viciously right-wing governors the state has ever had, and that's saying a lot for Louisiana, was backing. And one of those amendments was actually being backed by rapper 50 Cent. Here's some of his video.
This is Curtis James Jackson. You might know me as 50 Cent. I have a special message for the people of Louisiana. As you may have heard, I'm now a proud Louisiana property and business owner working hard to bring film and television industry back to Louisiana. I'm working because I have an opportunity to use my influence and make real change in the communities. I want to see more jobs and prosperity in the state of Louisiana. This is why I support the Amendment 2 on your ballot this Saturday. You should too. Don't let anyone confuse you about the Amendment 2. It gives teachers permanent pay raise. It doubles senior citizens tax deduction. This is all good stuff. Voting in favor of the Amendment 2 makes common sense. And this is a bipartisan effort. Every Louisiana State Senate Democrat voted to get the Amendment 2 on the ballot. This one is about the people coming together.
But Gary Chambers, who is, to me, one of the most principled and amazing activists in the state of Louisiana, and constantly out there trying to encourage particularly Black folks to vote, and poor people to vote, and regular Louisianans to vote in their interests. He went out hard against this amendment, as did some other organizers and organizing organizations in the state.
The Power Coalition, did you or any others, did 50 Cent reach out to Black activists to talk to them about any of this?
I've never had a conversation with 50. I reached out to you. I reached out to some other folks on the national level who I felt may have a relationship with the brother, because look, you may not know, okay? I'm trying to give the brother the benefit of the doubt. 50, you may not understand how this will hurt working class people, how this is gonna hurt poor people. You may not have read the legislation because it's such a complicated piece of legislation that people sued in order to have it removed from the ballot because the language is so long and complicated because it's confusing. The reality is this policy is gonna restructure our tax plan, cost poor people more money, help rich people keep more of their money, and it's a bad deal for the working class people of Louisiana. It is also disappointing when Black folks who have acquired a certain level of wealth talk to wealthy white people to come then tell Black folks what they ought to do. I think that's a disingenuous position. I can appreciate him coming into our state, but oh boy, mind your business when it comes to this one.
So here's the deal. Let's be real clear. Jeff Landry is MAGA to his core. And it's not like this is about Black folk.
Roland, you know what blows me about this? I wasn't going to go there, but I'm going to go there. 50 wouldn't say nothing about the national politics that impacts the entirety of Black people in America. Couldn't get you to open your mouth about what Black folks should do in the presidential election. Now we got the Department of Education being torn down, where Black folks are questioned about so many funding mechanisms that take care of Black children, special needs children. You use special needs children in your messaging while they're dismantling the Department of Education, and you're trusting the people who are aiding and abetting that process to govern the state of Louisiana with just and equitable policies. If you don't want to say nothing about the national politics where you have national influence, please don't come down here meddling in our local state issues when you have a platform to be able to influence Black people all over this country. But it seems you only want to use that when it's beneficial to you, and I call it bullshit on that.
And guess what happened? All 4 amendments lost. All 4 of them. Here's the post by Gary that's over on Instagram. Tonight, with strong Black early vote turnout, the working class people of Louisiana reminded the political establishment who this state really belongs to. All 4 constitutional amendments, written to benefit those in the back room, not the living room, have failed. And they didn't fail because of money or power. They failed because the people got organized. Over the past 2 weeks, I joined the Power Coalition for Equity and Justice on a statewide election tour. Continue reading. We showed up in North Louisiana, South Louisiana, and everywhere in between, having real conversations with real people about what these amendments would mean for their lives. We told the truth, and the people responded. This was a movement powered by everyday folks who understand that giving more power to judges, limiting local control, and criminalizing more children wasn't the direction we needed to go. More Gary Chambers. In Orleans Parish, voters rejected each amendment by over 89%. In East Baton Rouge, turnout hit over 72,000 voters, nearly triple what some expected. More than 70% of voters said no to every amendment. In Caddo Parish, over 60% of voters said no. These margins weren't close. This was a political beatdown. What we saw tonight wasn't just a vote, it was a declaration. Communities across the state are tired of being overlooked, and when they are educated and engaged, they show up with power. I think it's important to talk about this because I think in this era where people are so used to losing to the far right, and let's just be clear, Landry is the far MAGA Project 2025 right, that I think it's important to point out when working class people, when ordinary folks win, they even win against the sort of celebrity power of 50 Cent, who's bought a lot of land in Louisiana to build a movie studio, and so seem to be partnering with the powerful on this issue. And they lost. They lost because the people said no. And you know what? It's just a reminder that we, the people, do have the power to say no. No matter how powerful these oligarchs seem, there's nothing more powerful than the people. Democracy is this sort of ephemeral word. We say it all the time. It's not clear, well, what does it really mean? Demos means the people. That's all it is. Democracy means the people rule. And guess what happened in Louisiana on this Saturday in the year of our Lord 2025? The people won.
That was absolutely so cool that the Louisiana folks, let me turn this down a little bit. The Louisiana people, the citizens and the folks of Louisiana said, we are not having it. We are not having it. And we're going to talk about, I wanted to get your, well, let me just see what you guys said first of all through this, as you saw the video. I see here you said, we have to speak truth. They are extremists, simply because, this is in regard to the Republicans and the MAGA. Let's speak truth. We have to speak the truth. They are extremists, not simply conservatives. And we also have Jazzy says, I have a sincere question. What is the belief of the GOP? There is none. Because they shout fiscal conservatism, but they also raise the deficit and don't understand what it makes it to be a Republican. Well, the Republican Party has again, we know always the deficit goes up under Republicans. They're never fiscally responsible. So that's always been a Republican MO anyway. But now it's a mega party. They don't care. Trump raised the deficit more than any president in American history, but it was okay with them because it's hypocrisy. It's always hypocrisy with those people. Daddy says, I'm glad Louisiana is waking up finally because Governor Landry should not be but be in office for the in the first place. Correct. He got out because he only won because people didn't show up to vote. If Louisiana people got out to vote, if the black population alone went out to vote, this man would have never been governor. But black folks sat home. And but because they got laundry, I think black folks are now waking up in Louisiana and saying, wait a minute, we made an error. We are not sitting back any longer. So this was a proof. Lee says they are working hard in Louisiana to get the black people out to vote, and it's starting to work. Lisa says, yeah, 50 is he is wrong for this. 50 Cent has never, let me say never may be a strong word. 50 Cent over the last 5, maybe 4 years, 2 election cycles, has done nothing for black people. He is always on the side of the money, doesn't want to share, doesn't want to say this. He only steps up when it can help him. And that happened last year in the election season when there was another ballot situation that was going on. Yeah, I have lost a lot of respect for 50 Cent. And most of these rappers, most of them are uneducated. Most of them do not study. Most of them do not read. They don't know the policies. They don't know the power of their voices and their wrong voices. And we, like Elise and I had the conversation during the summer, we as black people need to stop supporting these people. Because why are you empowering people that do not support the black community? It doesn't matter if they're black or not. It doesn't matter if they're a black rapper. If they're not supporting the community, then we shouldn't be buying their music. We shouldn't be buying their anything. Concerts, nothing. Give them nothing. Because it's the people that make them. Dr. Taji said exactly why rappers who have no knowledge of the political process should just rap. We bought property in Louisiana yesterday, and he bought property in Louisiana yesterday, and thinks he now has to say in the local politics. Shut up, idiot. Elise says 50 Cent only interested in his money. He doesn't care about the people. And this has been proven over and over again. This is not just here. If you check 50 Cent's vocal language about elections, he has not been a person that is for the black community. Only when it's investing in what he deems important for his pockets. And he says, it is going to take the people to change what is happening. People are going to make the difference. Lisa says, Sheilon Musty gives $1 million checks to 2 voters. That's what we talked about. After Wisconsin Supreme Court rejects Attorney General's move to intervene. It's buying the election. But the people are going to have the last say. I think she's going to win. I think she is going to win. Her name is Crawford. I think it is Crawford. Jazzy says, I love Gary Chambers because he makes it as plain as possible. He broke it down. God bless. Yes. Elise says, yes, he does, Jazzy. Dr. Taji says, and now 50 can take himself to Popeyes and use his chiclet teeth to gnaw on some chicken. Dr. Taji. Dr. Taji takes it there. Lisa says, can they run it up to the Supreme Court since the Wisconsin Supreme Court is nuts? Well, the election is tomorrow. And probably the Supreme Court would not probably hear it. Feely, is that no, says Dr. Tachi. Lisa says, it's rich that 50 now has something to say and was quiet the whole presidential election cycle. That's what the gentleman was saying. He didn't say a word. And he did say some words. He just said, I can't say. His word of not saying was the word. He was not for Kamala. Typos, but you got it. We got it, Jazzy. We know how these Grammarly streets sometimes change the words. Dr. Jay says, has 50 Cent ever done anything for anyone but himself? Nope. He's been toxic from the start and is now spilling over into other things. And Mimi says, right, Dr. Tachi, right. Lisa says, first of all, he hasn't rapped in years. He is still a rapper. And Jazzy says, no offense to these celebrities, but I don't look to them as a guide for my vote. They have access to these politicians. It weighs the normal everyday people would not. In ways, okay, again, ways, right, in ways. And there we go. Not having, Lisa says, not having done intake on 50, but he is a narcissist. Okay, there you have it. Yeah, 50 Cent. Yeah, the gentleman, I think the gentleman sums it up perfectly. You didn't want to say anything in the major elections, and now you're going to buy a piece of property, and now you think you have say in our community, and you haven't read the bill? You haven't read the legislation? Yeah. Don't talk about it if you don't know about it. Jazzy says, exactly, for what? What do they know? They know nothing. Okay, so that was that one. I wanted to definitely get on that because that was a victory in Louisiana, and I wanted to make sure we talked about that. So if you're having your conversations with family and friends tonight at dinner, you can say there was a victory. And yes, we may be getting closer to a dictatorship in this country. However, like I said, the country can be saved. This is my own stats. If we can get 10% of the American population out on the streets and making their voices heard. So that means 30 million, more than 30 million voters out into the streets. The Republicans will be scared out of, well, like I said, the MAGA folks and the so-called Republicans, they will be scared out of their minds because that means they're going to be voted out. And all they are interested in is staying in power. But once they see that they're going to get kicked out of their Senate seats and kicked out of those the House of Representatives, when 30 million voters stand up in outrage around the country, they will begin to change. Remember, Nixon got kicked out because the Republicans said, it's going to affect us. And then they all went to him and said, you got to go. So the power is in the people. We are not powerless. We are not. Did I say? Yeah, I meant 30 million. 30 million people to vote. 30 million. 30 million protesters. So right now, you got thousands of people. You got thousands in New York. You got a couple of thousand in, in Arizona. 1,000 here, 1,000 there. A couple of thousand, several thousand. You need millions. You need millions to come out. Millions to protest. Millions. That is going to make it to the news. There'll be no choice. Right? So if millions come out. Lisa says, I hope there are shuttles and rides for folks in Florida to vote. There are. They are doing, I do believe there was a gentleman that was on Roland that says they're doing something to the polls. They do drives to the polls to tomorrow. So they're picking people up, senior citizens. They're taking them to the polls. Yes, there's a lot of folks that, they're doing a lot in Florida. They're going all out, and the Democrats need to go all in. They need to be going door to door in the Republican districts. Not just the Democrats. They need Republicans to be taught what is going on. Jazzy says, In this moment, we need these. We need the. Oh, sorry, had a hiccups there. In these moments, we need those in the majority, cough, cough, white people, cough, cough, white people, to raise up in this moment. This, as I was having a conversation this weekend, the only way this country is going to turn around if white people get out of their comfort zones and turn it around. Because again, not being anti-white, but the majority of the white population put this fool in office, and now y'all messed up. You FA and you FO, you FA, and now you're FOing, and now you're finding out you have no jobs. You getting kicked out. Your grandma don't have this. Your children don't have that. Y'all got to get up en masse. This is a white people problem. We all going to suffer for it, but white folks need to get up. All our white counterparts, get out there and talk to your neighbors and preach to them, teach them, talk to them. Because our Black community walking up to the white community and saying, hey, this is what you should be doing. They ain't listening to us. They're going to listen to you because you look like them. Just saying. Just saying. So our white counterparts, our white comrades, y'all need to be out there in the streets, which a lot of you are doing. I'm loving to see. I'm seeing it around the country. I'm seeing the protesting. I see the town halls. But you got to double up. You got to double up, triple up. There's got to be more of you. It's got to be more of you. Lisa says, and did they hear Dump say he doesn't care if the car prices go up? That's enough to get 30 million. That's right. Jazzy says, it's not about us. We are not going to be the ones they have to do it. That's right. We have to. Look, we did our part. Anthony Rowland says the YouTube's got to own their the YT's got to own their shh. Yes. Lisa should be. Annette says, Lisa, it should be. But when he says things, many act like they didn't hear it. Okay, it's Motivation Monday. I have a motivation for you guys for just as you go out in these streets. Let me get to the page. Sorry, let me go. The Patreon page. This went out to the Patreon members this morning. No, it was out last week. We didn't do it last week, so we're doing it this week. And it's the same encouraging message. Hold on a second. Okay, what's going on? Come on. Don't give me a hard time. What's happening? Hold on. Everything is backed up. Okay, let me see here. Let me get rid of some of these windows. Let me get some of these windows out of here so that way it will work a little smoother. And here we go. I think we should be working now. There we go. Patreon. There we go. I had too many windows open. Okay, here we go. See more. And here we go. Okay, so let's go into paid member mode. Okay. Okie dokie wokie. Here we go. Let's show it. And I think we're in good position. There we go. Nice. Okay. And there we go. Shoot what you feel. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. Just had to get that all set up. There had too many windows open. And changing things around here. Okay, so this is on our Patreon page for those that are Patreon members. Thank you guys for the Patreon community that support this, what we do here. And so this is a collective operation here. This is not just Ron. This is folks supporting. So if you want to become a Patreon member, you can do that. Just go to Patreon, go to Ron Lewis Photos. So this is our Motivation Monday for this week is shoot what it feels like. And, you know, we all have our cameras. We're out there in these streets. And we are photographing also our family, our friends, and all that good stuff. So here we go. Here's the quote for the week. Don't shoot what it looks like. Shoot what it feels like. Can I say that again? By David Allen Harvey's. His quote says, don't shoot what it looks like. Shoot what it feels like. There you go. It's a challenge and a profound directive for creatives across disciplines, especially for photographers like us and our community. It beckons artists to transcend surface level aesthetics and delve into their subject's raw, visceral essence. To shoot what it feels like means to make your audience not just see an image, but experience its soul. You know how we always talk about black and white photography and color photography? They always say color photography gives you the aesthetics. Black and white photography gives you the soul of the subject. Here we go. The laughters behind the smiles, the quiet melancholy of a rainy afternoon, the charged intensity of a bustling city street. This is storytelling at its most powerful, conveying a depth that words cannot. Howard and I were talking yesterday. What makes photographers, what differentiates photographers is the ability to tell the story, and make people feel through their images. Here we go. Let's explore questions like, how do we translate emotion into visual art? Or what techniques can we use to evoke specific feelings in our audience? Sometimes it's in the lighting. Sometimes it's just the expression. Sometimes it's a close-up shot. Sometimes it's the shot with a lot of people and the one person being different. There's many tools in your toolbox as a photographer, or even, even if you're a smartphone photographer, you're still a photographer. There's many tools in your toolbox to be able to adjust and create. Okay. Next, by infusing emotion into our work, we creatives can offer perspectives that resonate deeply, leaving a lasting imprint on our audience. It challenges us to approach our craft with heart and intention, elevating our storytelling to be more than just visually compelling, making it solely unforgettable. That's what we do as photographers. That's what every time you take a picture of your family, be intentional. Every time you're on the streets, be intentional. Get the expressions, get the smile, get the sorrow, get the feeling. Make people feel in every image. Okay, guys? And I think that would be it. I think, let me just do a couple of our wonderful announcements at the end. Again, if you are, I just did what Gwendolyn does. I did a song pause. There we go. If you are in the building, make sure you hit on the QR code. You can go to my contact, and you can sign up for the email. And make sure you do that. So that way, if they happen to do something on these platforms where we can't reach out, I can definitely reach out to you by email. Also, I'm an event photographer here in New York City. And I do travel all over to do event photography. If you have a company that needs your events photographed, or you have an event for your family or gatherings, give me a call. Slide into my DMs. And again, I want to say thank you to my Patreon members who support. And again, you can become a Patreon member by supporting, by going to Patreon at Ron Lewis Photos. And every little bit counts. If you're in this community and you're here every day and you get something out of this community, don't just be an observer. Be a contributor. Help out. Help out so we can do this all together. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good there. And thank you so much. I enjoy my time with you. I'm due for a nap. I know you are. Some of you are. I see in here. If you enjoyed the message today, you can, yeah, like Jazzy. Jazzy sends some sort of applause there. Cass says, appreciate it. Have a blessed, motivated Monday all. Absolutely. And let's do this again. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about smartphone photography and using your focus mechanisms on your screen, how to use them better so that way you get sharper pictures. A lot of people say, to me, a lot of folks say, Ron, why are my pictures so blurry? You're probably not, besides cleaning your lens, you're probably not using the focus function on your smartphone. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow. Get out. If you know people in Florida, help them, encourage them to go out and vote tonight. Tomorrow. In Wisconsin, make sure you reach out to them and encourage them to vote. Do not sit on the sofa. We got in this mess because so many people sat on the sofa. Your no vote is a vote. So please vote. Get out and vote. All those people out there. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I will see you tomorrow. Love you all. Bye-bye. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Until I see you next time.